An illegal immigrant has been charged with attempted kidnapping after attacking a woman in a coffee shop in Nashville. A Knoxville couple has pleaded guilty to producing fake IDs for illegal immigrants, and it seems like Ballad Health brought mommy and daddy home a straight A report card. Something seems a bit amiss there. But that's only a bit of a sneak peek at what we're going to be talking about today. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Adelia Kirchner. I'm one of the writers here at the Tennessee Conservative, and I'm filling in for Brandon Lewis. So grab your hot coffee or your lunch, whatever you choose to eat or drink while watching this, because it's all pure entertainment, right? So real quick before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our free daily e-newsletter. Just text news to 423-205-5600. That's 423-205-5600. Follow us on the social media platforms that have not yet shadow banned us. That includes X, formerly known as Twitter, and Gab, Getter, Truth, Rumble, and MeWe. All right, story number 1. Governor Lee signs law preventing red flag gun laws in Tennessee. Governor Bill Lee signed a new law on Tuesday that prevents cities and municipalities in Tennessee from creating or enforcing red flag gun laws. The legislation was carried by State Senator Janice Bowling and State Representative Jody Barrett. I like both of them. They're very conservative. We like them. The law preempts the entire field of legislation regarding extreme risk protection orders to the exclusion of all county, city, town, municipality, or metropolitan government law, ordinances, resolutions, enactments, or regulations. Sponsors of the legislation noted that it is necessary to protect Tennessee's citizens from possible overreach in the area of gun control. Proponents argued that these laws can potentially take away an individual's Second Amendment rights without accurately assessing a person's mental state or behavior. Republican Senators Art Swan and Paige Wally voted against the bill on the Senate floor, and in the House we have Representative Sam Whitson, the lone Republican, joining the Democrats to oppose the bill. All right, our next story is Tennessee law will now allow civil lawsuits against those who traffic minors for gender-altering medical procedures without parental consent. This week, Governor Lee signed into law a bill that will allow lawsuits against anyone taking minors out of the state without the consent of their parents for, quote, gender-affirming care. The legislation makes the actions of an adult who recruits, harbors, or transports an unemancipated minor within the state for the purposes of receiving a prohibited medical procedure, regardless of where the medical procedure is to be procured, a Class C felony. The Senate bill, sponsored by Senator Janice Bowling, first passed the Tennessee Senate along party lines in mid-April of this year. The House bill, sponsored by Representative Brian Ritchie, was passed in the Tennessee House later that month along party lines, but was altered with an amendment prior to its passage presented by Representative Patsy Hazelwood. Hazelwood's amendment diverged from the original bill language by stating that the law does not apply to parents or legal guardians. An adult who has permission from the minor's parent or legal guardian and common carriers transporting passengers in the course and scope of their business. Representative Ritchie said, while the bill didn't cover everything we aimed for, I'm relieved we managed to implement the civil action, empowering parents with the ultimate authority over medical procedures for our children. It's another crucial safeguard against the looming threats targeting our kids. Okay, but did we notice what Representative Patsy Hazelwood did there? Okay, remember, she's up for re-election. Okay, she's up for re-election this year. And you have a choice in who to vote for, guys. If you want to see more about her voting record, there's a nice handy-dandy little article on our website. Says, Patsy Hazelwood running for re-election, or Hazelwood running for re-election. A look at her voting record, okay? Take a look at the article. Decide how to vote from there, guys. Story number 3. Tennessee bill that could put violent illegal aliens behind bars for life becomes law. Legislation that would allow Tennessee courts to enhance criminal penalties up to life in prison without parole for illegal immigrants convicted of violent crimes has been signed into law by Governor Lee. The legislation, sponsored by Representative Monty Fritz and Senator Janice Bowling, passed in both chambers along party lines, with only Democrats voting against. The new law does 4 basic things. It enhances the penalty for illegal immigrants who commit a violent crime in Tennessee. It enhances the penalty for an illegal immigrant who commits a crime in Tennessee while in possession of a deadly weapon, up to life in prison without parole. It also enhances the penalty for any adult who commits a felony violent crime on a K-12 school campus in Tennessee, so not just illegal immigrants on that one. And the law allows a magistrate or judge setting bail and bond to take an individual's residency status into consideration when making that decision. Our next story is New Tennessee law criminalizes abortion trafficking of minors. Governor Lee has signed a bill into law that makes it a criminal offense to assist minors in obtaining an abortion by transporting them across state lines, which we know happens far too often. The legislation, sponsored by Representative Jason Zachary and Senator Paul Rose, has been called a parental protection plan by the bill sponsors, who state that the bill makes parental permission a requirement for a minor to be transported for the purpose of having an abortion. The Senate passed an amended version of the bill on April 10th along party lines, with all Republicans voting in favor, with the exception of Senator Art Swan, who was counted as present but not voting. I'd go in here, but dude's retiring, so whatever. In the Senate, there were 3 total amendments proposed, but only one by Senator Todd Gardenhire was adopted and received passage tied to the bill. On the floor vote in the House, the bill received passage with only one Republican voting against, Representative Sam Whitson. In the House, Representative Patsy Hazelwood proposed an amendment which was adopted by the chamber prior to the final vote. The major difference between the original version of the bill and the amended versions that were passed is the addition of the text that the criminal penalty does not apply to a person who has obtained the written notarized consent of the unemancipated minor's parent or guardian to transport a minor out of state to receive an abortion. The importance of this legislation has become even more urgent as the abortion industry is looking for ways to get around the laws in pro-life states like Tennessee. Recently, Planned Parenthood was caught admitting that they facilitate abortion travel for underage girls and those aiding and abetting them without the knowledge or consent of their parents. Violation of the law is a Class A misdemeanor with mandatory jail time of 11 months and 29 days. It also creates a civil liability for this action, and the law goes into effect on July 1st of this year. So in about a month, okay, it'll be illegal to transport or assist minors in obtaining an abortion by transporting them across state lines, unless you receive written consent from the parents.
If you would, go ahead and just hit the share button on this thing as you're watching it. People need to know about these awful voting records and these great voting records ahead of the primary, because you're going to be lied to, bamboozled, misled through omission and commission with all of these rhinos talking about how awesome they are and how conservative they are, and it just simply isn't the truth. Guys, please do go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that support button. Help us replace our website so that we can be found and so that it's easier for you to navigate. If you give any amount, we will send you 2 bumper stickers that you can proudly display. One of them says, "Don't California my Tennessee," and the other one says, "Proud Tennessee Conservative." We'll also send you a directory of your state and elected representatives and a thank you note from yours truly. Now, should you give $50 or more or a recurring donation of $10 or more, we will send you a Proud Tennessee Conservative tumbler, and we will also send you a koozie to keep all of your summer beverages cool. TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support, or mail your checks, as many people do, to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. That's P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. Next story.
All right, 5th story of the day. Illegal immigrant attacks women inside Nashville coffee shop, and Tennessee Republicans call on DHS Secretary for answers. An illegal immigrant was arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping and sexual battery after he allegedly attacked a woman on Thursday, May 16th, attempting to push her into a bathroom at a dessert and coffee shop in Nashville. According to the police report, the victim was on her way to the restroom when 23-year-old Nelson Giovanni Ortez Ramirez allegedly grabbed the woman's buttocks and started pushing her into a single-stall restroom. The woman reportedly kicked the man and pushed him away enough to lock herself in the bathroom alone. She then called her boyfriend, who was able to take pictures of Ramirez before he ran off, allowing police to identify and arrest the perpetrator. According to an affidavit, the woman said she was afraid Ramirez was going to lock them both in the restroom and rape her. Ramirez was booked on 8 charges that night, including attempted kidnapping, sexual battery, public intoxication, and evading arrest. Identified as an illegal immigrant, Ramirez remains in custody on a $16,700 bond and is currently on a detainer from U.S. Immigrations and Custom Enforcement. Fortunately, this brave woman was able to push Ortez Ramirez away and call the police, but this despicable incident would never have happened without your reckless and irresponsible open border policies, reads a letter addressed to U.S. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The May 23rd letter asking for answers about Ramirez's immigration status and why he was permitted to remain in the country after that, or originally to begin with, was signed by the Republicans in Tennessee's congressional delegation. So that's Senator Marsha Blackburn, pretty much all of our U.S. representation, except for Steve Cohen, the Democrat Congress rep. Yeah. Next story is Knoxville couple sentenced for producing more than 100 fake IDs for illegal immigrants. Ooh, juicy. The Department of Justice issued sentencing for a Knoxville couple on Friday after the pair pleaded guilty to producing fake IDs and driver's licenses for over 100 individuals who did not meet the qualifications for them. Cheryl Huff served as a district manager for the Tennessee Department of Homeland Security in the greater Knoxville area. Huff was authorized to issue licenses and identification cards through the Driver Service Center. The charges against the couple state that Huff's husband, 51-year-old Mario Mejia, would charge $2,500 to obtain a license or ID card for individuals who are not Tennessee residents or citizens of the United States. Huff would also assist them in obtaining falsified documents to verify residency and citizenship, as those are required to get a driver's license in Tennessee. These documents included fake lease agreements, fraudulent birth certificates, and fake social security cards to make it appear that the illegal immigrants were actually legally in the country. He would then work with Huff to get them the needed Tennessee ID or license. Huff was given a sentence of 37 months in prison, while Paz Mejia was given 30 months. Both will serve an additional year of supervised release following their sentences. The pair were facing the possibility of up to 15 years in federal prison and $250,000 in fines. A photo ID, such as a driver's license issued by the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, is one of the eligible forms of ID that is required to vote in state elections. There is no word at this point if there will be any efforts to track down the individuals that the couple produced fake IDs for. You would think that that would be like one of the main steps here. Is give me a list of all the illegal immigrants that you helped falsify documents for that are now walking around and possibly voting, doing other things that only legal citizens are supposed to do. So I want that list. It's like that would be one of my primary concerns, but whatever. Last story of the Big 7 for the week, y'all. Okay. In Tennessee, Ballad Health gets an A grade no matter how its hospitals performed. A Tennessee agency that is supposed to hold accountable and grade the nation's largest state-sanctioned hospital monopoly awards full credit on dozens of quality of care measurements as long as it reports any value, regardless of how its hospitals actually perform. Ballad Health, a 20-hospital system in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia, has received A grades and an annual stamp of approval from the Tennessee Department of Health. This has occurred as Ballad hospitals consistently fall short of performance targets established by the state. Because the state's scoring rubric largely ignores the hospital's performance, only 5% of Ballad's final score is based on actual quality of care, and Ballad has suffered no penalty for failing to meet the state's goals in about 50 areas, including surgery complications, emergency room speed, and patient satisfaction. Ballad Health was created 6 years ago after Tennessee and Virginia lawmakers waived federal anti-monopoly laws so two competing hospital companies could merge. Ballad has failed to meet the baseline values on 75% or more of all quality measures in recent years, and some are not even close, according to reports the company has submitted to the health department. Ballad has become the only option for hospital care for most of about 1.1 million residents in a 29-county region at the nexus of Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Every year since the merger, the Tennessee Health Department has reported that the benefits of the hospital merger outweigh the risks of a monopoly, and that Ballad continues to provide a public advantage. Are you guys laughing? I didn't know I was a comedian. Whoever wrote this article, that's some funny stuff, right? Whoever awarded the A grade to Ballad Health. It's entertaining, to say the least. I don't know if y'all are familiar. There's this game that I used to play in pools as a kid. I'm sure everybody at some point has played some variation of this game, but it's where somebody gives you a topic or something, and you have to like guess the word or like make word associations. And if you don't do it in enough time, they like dunk you underwater. There's also like the game of concentration, that like hand clap game. Anyways, but the other day my my friend made a Instagram post, and I commented on it. I don't know, we were kind of giving each other some crap in the comment section, and I was just like, oh, I was like, okay, well, it's been a nice little friendship. And she responded and she was just like, indeed. And I think oh, I responded with LinkedIn, and then she came back and was like ZipRecruiter. And so, you know, it's just like a game of association. So we're just going back and forth. So she says ZipRecruiter. I said daddy's money. She said mommy's money. I said foreign owned land. And then she says fracking. So I said Ballad Health Monopoly. And she just looked at me and she was just like, you're doing too much. Just like, I don't know that stuff as well as you do. You need to stop. So I think the bottom line here is that I won the game of association. She might disagree, but she can't talk right now. So anyways, that's about all I have for y'all today. If you want the full and complete rundown on any or all of our Big 7 stories of the week, check out the links in the description or head straight to our website, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. If you like what we're doing and you want us to keep it up, then you should consider donating to support the cause, because we are a donor-run publication, okay? And it costs money to give you guys Tennessee Conservative News. It just does. So if you want to support us, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com and hit that red support button. While you're on our website, you should also hit that green subscribe button. It's real cute. It's a nice little green button. It says subscribe. But anyways, you can get our free weekday newsletter. That way you get a nice little email every day that fills you in on our big news stories of the week. Also, don't forget to check out the Tennessee Conservative podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out so much. And as always, your listenership is appreciated, your readership is appreciated, and we will be back with a new Big 7 next week.